Welcome back to College Football Fanatic. I'm your host, Mitch. Week 3 is in the books, and we have a lot to get into. So let's start off with Texas A&M beating Notre Dame 41-40. Elephant in the room, obviously the botched extra point, and then that fourth down conversion for A&M to win that game. That's just got to be absolute killer for Notre Dame fans. As an Ohio State fan, I actually feel really bad for you guys. 0-2 is not a great start to the season, but then to lose that game like that sucks. That totally sucks. Notre Dame, defensively, there's a lot to be concerned about here. They're not getting stops. I understand they're not opening up with Akron and, Middle Tennessee State or whatever. So, Miami's a real team. A&M is a real team that can score some points. But they've given up over 800 yards of offense to Miami and A&M combined. Not good enough. Offensively, I think you like what you see. You like a lot from what you see out of CJ Carr. He's young, redshirt freshman. He made a second start. I understand he's making some turnover-worthy throws, but he's kind of a gamer. So I think there's a lot that I like there with CJ Carr. He's going to get better throughout the year. He's young. You're not getting a whole lot of production out of Jeremiah Love. Again, the competition is hard. I get that. If they were playing cream puffs, he would have the stats and the numbers, but I don't know. It's a little underwhelming right now, and you got to give credit to Miami and A&M for keying in on their best player, Jeremiah Love, and also just not letting Notre Dame's offense go nuts. Obviously, Notre Dame put up 40, so offensively, they didn't have trouble moving the ball, but it's just been a little underwhelming for Notre Dame, and I know that there's concerns about the defense. My biggest takeaway from this game is that I feel like there's more to talk about with Notre Dame than there is with A&M. Texas A&M has Marcel Reed. They're going to put up some points defensively. They want to get stops wherever they can. But from what you saw out of the Aggies, that's what we've known them to be, right? That's what we've been expecting. From Notre Dame, starting 0-2, they're winless. You're not getting a lot of production from your best player. You have a defense that's not getting stops, not getting the job done. There's real concerns here. And now Notre Dame, the advanced analytics are saying it's going to be really hard for them to make it the playoff. You're 0-2. You don't have, a conference championship to help add to the resume, but also get that automatic bid in. I don't know. There's a lot of things to be concerned about, including the postseason when it comes to Notre Dame. So they got to figure it out and try to go on a run here. And you can't feel like you're in a good spot with them. LSU beats Florida 20-10. I thought LSU was fine. I'm not a big Brian Kelly guy, but LSU certainly is a team that is making a lot of noise this year. Garrett Nussmeier certainly wasn't perfect and also made some throws in this game where a guy like him shouldn't be making these throws. You know what I mean? He's not a young quarterback. He's experienced. But I think LSU kind of realized with this game, defensively, we can do whatever we want to Florida, Billy Napier, and DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway had 5 picks, in case you haven't heard that by now. I think someone said on Twitter that he's Anthony Richardson 2.0, which is kind of funny. I think that's a little far. I still think there's a lot of arm talent there, but it's not working at Florida. And he's not on the same page with Billy Napier. Billy Napier now, let's be honest, he's going to be fired, right? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I was looking at the numbers for his buyout earlier this morning, and Athlon Sports is reporting that I think after this season, the buyout drops to $20 million, so it doesn't seem like it's a crazy amount. Billy Napier is, 20-20 or 20-21 now, all-time record at Florida. That's not good enough. The start to this season isn't good enough. His quarterback play isn't good enough. Yes, his quarterback play isn't really all on Billy Napier. DJ Lagway deserves some of that blame as well, but it is not working right now. So Billy Napier has got to go. Florida fans, I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm sick of seeing this with Billy Napier. I can only imagine if you're a Florida fan, this has got to be driving you nuts. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Billy Napier, he's on his way out. They got to be done with him. Miami, let's go to Miami beating South Florida 49-12. The magical run, the March Madness run for USF is over. We knew it wasn't going to last much longer. Miami is certainly one of the best teams in college football throughout 3 weeks. They're in that tier with Ohio State and Oregon. I know Oregon really hasn't played anyone, but they look like a well-oiled machine. If you want to throw in LSU and Penn State into that top tier, you can. Point is, Miami's rolling right now. And the biggest thing that you like, I think, with Miami is on both sides of the football, they are controlling the line of scrimmage. They look big, fast, physical, violent. They're moving people. And then you combine that with what you're getting out of Carson Beck. Sometimes all that you need with a quarterback like him is a fresh start. And I think everything that Miami was hoping they would get from Carson Beck is exactly what they're getting. He's completing nearly 80% of his passes, 800 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's been good. He's not perfect, but he's been good, and he is giving them exactly what they were hoping to get. So Miami is certainly, they're a team this year to watch. The only thing I have my eye out for is, do we just get a game where you get a bad game from Carson Beck, and at the same time you get, some questionable game management decisions from Mario Cristobal, which we've seen him do before. There's a lot to like with Miami. If they continue to be physical and control the line of scrimmage, they're going to continue to be a problem. Let's go to Georgia beating Tennessee 44-41 in overtime. This was the game I was hoping it would be. And if you watch that game, or if you didn't watch it, Tennessee did jump out to an early lead on Georgia. But when you get those early leads in today's day of college football, those leads are not safe. And even though Tennessee was explosive and jumped out on top of Georgia like that, I knew it's like, okay, let's wait for the second half. Let's wait for Georgia to fight and claw their way back. And that's exactly what they did. We did get some pretty good quarterback play. Let's start with Gunnar Stockton, 23 of 31 for 304, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Really good game from Gunnar. I imagine Georgia's happy with that. On the other side of the ball with Joey, 24 of 36 for 371, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Got a little loose with the ball, had a few turnovers, but he's the transfer in, right? Well, he transferred to UCLA, and then with that quarterback swap that they basically had with Nico Iamaleava, now Joey's here in the SEC, and so he's making some throws, some turnover-worthy throws that I think he used to be able to get away with at the lower level of competition, but you can't get away with that now in the SEC. But I think you have to be happy with Joey's performance and the production you're getting out of him. I think looking at the Nico Iamaleava situation really quick, Tennessee fans and Tennessee in general has to feel like they won the divorce with that relationship. UCLA, obviously a dumpster fire, just fired their head coach. This morning, the day I record this, 0-3, winless. Nico doesn't look good. He's trashed his reputation as well. Tennessee, you guys do have a quarterback that can sling it, and still, we just finished week 3. There's time to grow and evolve. The hard part about this game for Tennessee is that you got to put that game away. You got to make that kick. And even before that, if you let a team like Georgia hang around and you don't put them away, you don't take advantage of the situations that you're in to win that game, Georgia's going to come back and find a way to win. And when Tennessee missed that field goal at the end to put it away, and it goes to OT, and then Tennessee has to settle for a field goal, and they make that kick, at that point, I knew the game was over. They weren't going to stop Georgia. Georgia was going to go down and score a touchdown when they got the ball in overtime, and that's exactly what happened. So everything is still in front of Tennessee regarding their goals and what they can do, but this would have been a huge win to put on their resume. It would have given them some breathing room, would have been a great start to the year, and they choked it away. Let's go to Texas beating UTEP. Arch Manning struggles. So 11 of 25 for 114 yards. Not great. 1 passing touchdown, 1 pick. He had some success on the ground. 26.5 QBR. Guys, is he just not ready? I mean, is he hurt? I know there were talks about that in the press conference, that clip that went around, talking about the grimace on Arch's face and just that you got that snarky response from Sark. I just don't know what's going on here. Arch might not be ready to play. I'm not a quarterback guru, but, people have pointed to, and I know I said this last week, but people have pointed to his mechanics look off and just the way he's kind of flailing and throwing and just, it doesn't, I guess a better way is like it doesn't look natural coming out. He doesn't have this smooth release, this natural throwing motion. I know he's a running threat, and Texas is leaning into that a little bit more, which I think they need to do. I think they also see that he's just not ready to throw the ball at a high level right now. 11 to 25 guys against UTEP. 4.6 yard average. That's not good. That's not good enough at all. Now, the good news for Texas is you have a defense that can carry you, and I think you maybe found something here on the ground game with Arch Manning especially that you can lean on more. Now you're putting your quarterback, out there a little bit and making him more prone to get hit, but the passing game is not working right now. And Texas also doesn't have the top tier skill talent right now. I'm not saying they don't have skill guys on offense, but it's just, I think it's a little lacking as well with who they have at receiver. So There are some concerns here offensively with Texas. 2-1 to start the year. Sluggish game against UTEP. I don't know. Something is off with Arch Manning. They got to figure that out, or at least you can kind of see how I think they are trying to adjust and lean into the strengths of Arch a little bit. So let's watch this. Let's watch this with Arch and kind of see how this develops. And let's go into the last game here. We're going to talk about Georgia Tech beating Clemson 24-21. Georgia Tech was home. 55-yard field goal for the win. Nailed it. Just great vibes for Georgia Tech. The Clemson side of thing, I couldn't have been more wrong to start the year. So for years, I've been off the Dabo Swinney train because since the Trevor Lawrence era, the national championships era, it just Clemson hasn't been the same, right? And I was not on the train. I had jumped off, and then this last year I did jump back on. I liked the returning production. I liked Cade Klubnik and what I thought he was going to bring coming back, but also take that next step. And Clemson's been horrible. I mean, is it outrageous to say they could have been 0-3 so far? I mean, the one win was against Troy, and they were down 16-0. They came back and won. And, were they ever going to lose to Troy? Well, I don't know. They didn't, but they sure as hell don't look good at all. The one game that they did win against Troy, they looked horrible. So, you lose to LSU, not great. That's one thing. The 16-0 start versus Troy, come back and win. It's well, you shouldn't have to do that. That's concerning. And then now losing to Georgia Tech. Cade Klubnik does not look like the Heisman hype kind of guy that, he was getting in the offseason. Clemson just doesn't have it. And Clemson's continuing to tell us and show us who they are. So, I got to stop all the flip-flopping. But how can you be high on Clemson right now? The good news is they're not out of it when it comes to the ACC championship. They can still go on a run, win the ACC, play their way into the playoff, but they're kind of in a similar spot as with Notre Dame with the 2 losses. Now, actually, are they in a slightly better spot than Notre Dame? Yes, because they are in a conference, so they can try to fight and crawl their way back into a championship game, a conference championship game, and get that win and pad the resume a little bit and get that automatic qualifier into the playoff, but not a good feel right now for Clemson fans.